You know, we spend most of our lives, much of our lives, chasing things that we think are going to fulfill us in some way, not really putting much thought or effort into what we're chasing and why. Now, this can be in the form of, relationships, money, material success, fame, attention, pretty much anything. But it's very similar to the way that a child's mind works, right? The child sort of sees some shiny toy and then starts chasing after it, hoping to obtain it without really thinking about it too much. And I realized that most of us who grow into adults, we kind of grow into adults with that same sort of childlike mentality. We'll see something we want, something that we believe will fulfill us or make us happy, and then we run after it with all of our energy. We put all of our time and energy into obtaining that one thing. And if we can't have this thing, or if we don't get it, we find ourselves feeling very inadequate, or like we can't live a happy or fulfilling life without this thing, whatever it is. Now, going after things in life is not inherently wrong or bad, but I've come to find that there's a very distinct difference, a very important distinction between pursuing something in life and chasing it. When you mindlessly chase something, it's subtly implying that it's sort of getting away from you. And you're putting this endless amount of energy into just obtaining the thing without, it doesn't really matter how you achieve this. All that matters is you actually get it. And you don't necessarily always enjoy this chase. You can kind of see this with people who are really obsessed with money or success. They're sort of just stepping all over each other to kind of get to the top, right? Do they really enjoy doing that? Or they're just so obsessed with chasing this sort of imaginary idea that they believe is going to fulfill them, this imaginary idea of happiness. It kind of reminds me of like two children playing tag. The point is to just catch the other one because they're getting away from each other. Like that's simply just the goal, is to catch the other child, or kind of like a cat chasing a mouse. The cat doesn't really care how the mouse is caught. He just will do whatever he has to get the mouse and eat it. It's a very mindless chase, right? But when you pursue something in life, it's more of a process that can be enjoyed. The artist painting a portrait, for example, isn't like rushing to get it done. They're not like, oh, I have to get this done immediately. No, they're really taking their time and they're enjoying the process of it because they really love what they're doing. They really love art. Or maybe a long distance runner who's running a marathon. It's very slow paced. They're not just desperate to get to the finish line and get it over with. They really love the process of running. They're very passionate about running. See, chasing is sort of this like quick momentary thing where our desires are just sort of mindlessly controlling us. Pursuing something, on the other hand, takes time and effort and patience. When you're pursuing something in life, you're enjoying every moment that it takes to get there. Not to say that there aren't challenges and, difficult times involved, but you learn to really love those when you're in the pursuit of something. You'll even love that aspect of it, of those difficult and challenging times. That's what makes a pursuit so great, are the challenges and the roadblocks that you're going to encounter on the way. You enjoy figuring out how to get around those. And I just want to say, I apologize if you've been watching me for a while, because I know that I bring this up in probably almost every video. This is fundamentally what all my videos are really about. But it really is one of the most important principles to truly live the best fulfilling life that you possibly can while you're here on earth. This is something that no matter what you believe, whether it's Buddhism, Advaita, Stoicism, Taoism, this is an extremely important concept in every single spiritual teaching or philosophy, that your current present moment reality is truly the only thing you have. And you have to learn to be fully engaged with it at all times. You have to learn to really fall in love with it, whatever your present moment experience is. And you do this by learning to fully engage your mind and body into whatever you're doing, whatever you're currently doing, whatever's happening in this second. That's the magic behind pursuit. That's what makes it a pursuit rather than a chase. A pursuit, you're fully engaged in every second along the way. Chasing is when your body is just sort of going through the motions, but your mind is somewhere else. Your mind is already in the future. It's at the finish line, but your body is just sort of going there to kind of catch up with your mind. You know what I mean? And this doesn't mean that you are going to necessarily love every second of what you are pursuing, but you have to learn to accept it all with love and compassion. Even the hard times, even the painful times, they're all there for a reason. That's the point of a pursuit. Getting through those times is what fundamentally makes you, that's where the growth is. That's what makes you a stronger, better, wiser person. Everything that you experience, everything that you're experiencing right now is fundamental for your growth. This is why it's so imperative to be engaged with reality every second of the day, or at least try to. The goal, obviously, this is, this takes a lot of time to really master. The goal is to try to do this. This is what all of the great thinkers sort of figured out about life. When our mind is so hyper-focused on chasing that next moment or that next thing, it's most likely for most people, it's to escape whatever you're currently experiencing or whatever you're currently going through. This overall causes a lot more misery than if you were to just face the current reality, face your current situation, whether it's boring or painful or scary or whatever. We have to learn to just face it. And by the way, this is something that I've been working on for years now, and I still sometimes struggle with. I'm not like a master at this or a pro or anything. I'm just sharing my experience with you. We can all kind of work on this together. That's what I'm really doing with this channel. I don't have it all figured out, but I've made a lot of progress in recent years. It's a very, very challenging thing for anybody to adapt, especially if you're living in the modern world, especially if you're living in a country like America. This is why they've created mindfulness practices like meditation and breath work to sort of pull our mind away from always chasing that next moment and to bring it back to here and now, to sort of learn to anchor it to right now. This is why, if you're familiar with Buddha and his story, he sat under a tree for 30 days straight and just meditated on this present moment for 30 whole days, because he knew that the reason we're so dissatisfied is because we're constantly craving that next moment. We're never really embracing life. We're never really embracing the present moment. We're always just bumbling around like a bunch of fools, always wanting things to be different. We always want more. We always want things to change. We're never satisfied because we can never learn to just love whatever's happening right now. We have a very finite amount of time in this world, and we have to learn to use it in a way that is fulfilling to us. And this isn't one of those things where, you have to quit your job and go travel the world and chase your dreams. You can do that if you want to, but nothing necessarily has to change in your life other than your perception. You just have to learn to change your perception of always chasing everything and always hyper-focusing and obsessing over some sort of end result or goal, and to just kind of change it to more of a pursuit, like I was talking about. What if the cat, instead of like angrily and desperately trying to chase the mouse, changed his perception and was like, you know what? I'm having so much fun doing this. I really love chasing this mouse. You could do the same with whatever you may have going on in your life. You can even, for example, look at a job that you may hate or be very unhappy with and sort of look at it as a positive. Look at it as a growing experience. Look at it as, this is something that I have to do in order to eventually get me to really where I really want to be. But all of this experience that I'm acquiring with this job is fundamental for my growth. It's going to get me eventually where I want to be. It's like a necessary stepping stone. Learn as much as you can with your current job and build your skill set while you're there. It's important though to not get confused also with a lot of the things that I talk about and a lot of the things that I teach. I think it's easy to misconstrue it as, well, really just like all of these spiritual teachings in general, they talk a lot about, we suffer because we always desire, or we're dissatisfied because we always desire. And I kind of, in the beginning, took that as like, okay, well, I guess I'm supposed to just sit here and do nothing and meditate all day. No, you still do all of your usual things. You still go off, have all of your life responsibilities. You still pursue things in life. But just instead of looking at it as a chase to the finish line, you look at it as a long-term journey. Because that finish line that doesn't exist. There's never a finish line. We're always going to want more. This is truly where happiness lies. The more that you can pull your mind away from always looking at that next moment and to put it right here and now, that is what truly brings us fulfillment. We're unhappy because we're never here and now. We're always in some fantasy. We're always in some other time, some other place, some futuristic moment that doesn't even really exist. You should pursue things like success and wealth if that's something you want, but you shouldn't chase it with the intent that it's going to have all the answers. Because trust me, it doesn't, I promise you. Millionaires want to be billionaires. Married people have their eye on somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? You don't find true fulfillment isn't in getting things in life. It's found in how you're actually spending your time. Our entire life is made up of each second. And what's important is what you're actually doing in this present moment second. It's found in doing your best to be engaged in every moment of the day and enjoying every second of the process. So I would say my suggestion, if you want it, is to just start noticing how much you're doing things just for the sake of finishing them, or, just to move on to something else. I've noticed recently, I like to read a lot. I've noticed that sometimes I'm just trying to get to the end of a book just to get it done. Or when I'm writing, I also love to write. Sometimes I'm trying to just rush through my writing and, be done with it so I can move on to the next thing. Or anything that you do, any task, whatever it may be, just start shifting your mind a little bit from always wanting to be done with things to more so learning to really be engaged with whatever you're doing right now. This is extremely helpful. It might alleviate a lot of misery for you. It definitely did for me. The idea here is to actually learn to fall in love with right now, no matter what is presenting you.